Hello, Twins fans. Welcome back to another episode of From Lee to Limestone. I'm Matt Lenz with Twins Daily, and I wanted to say happy opening short season day. Short season is a season that obviously starts a little bit later. They play about 70 games, and it's comprised of some of the youngest talents that are in Major League Baseball. In fact, some of the names that we're going to look at today are 17 and 18 years old. So this league is really meant for guys who are new or young to organizations. So maybe from the most recent international free agency class, which we'll talk about somebody who is. In a month from now, after the first year player draft, a lot of those guys will be assigned to one of the short season teams. And so again, you're looking at some of the youngest players in Major League Baseball who, I don't know, kind of exciting to follow. Somebody you can maybe follow starting now at 17 years old, and who knows, 5, 6, 7 years from now, you might see them at Target Field and you can claim that you have been following them for the last 5, 6, 7 years. Kind of a cool little humble brag there. And so these are some of the names that I'm looking at this year to follow for the Dominican Summer League Twins and the Florida Complex League Twins. And the Dominican Summer League team is a lot more stacked when you look at the various prospect rankings. So let's start there. And definitely number one is 18-year-old outfielder Yasser Mercedes. He was a part of the 2022 international free agency class, one of the top outfielders in the class, because he provides plus defense and a very good bat. Now, from a scouting perspective, the various reports were kind of consistent in saying that the concern with him is just his decision-making at the plate, which at 18 years old is not uncommon. But he is prone to a little bit of swing and miss, a little bit of soft contact, because he chases pitches from time to time. Now, that didn't stop him from having a very successful 2022 season. This will be his second season with the Dominican Summer League Twins. Last year, he posted a 975 OPS with 30 stolen bases. Again, power, speed, is projected to be a plus defender, whether it's in center field or as he fills out, possibly in one of the corner outfield roles. But this is somebody really to start keeping an eye on because in the next handful of years, you could start seeing him in St. Paul or even right at Target Field. Another name I like, 17-year-old outfielder Jose Rodriguez, a part of the same class as Yasser Mercedes. Again, an outfield type, but he comes with a lot more volatility. He's got the power. He led the Dominican Summer League in home runs last year, had a 966 OPS, but he has a lot of swing and miss to his game, and he doesn't have the defensive acumen. And so those are going to be two really big kind of red flags to keep an eye on as he develops. Again, only 17 years old. There's a lot of time for that. But whereas Mercedes, if he just becomes a plus defender with an average bat, that's gonna get you to the major leagues. If you are not a plus defender and you have a lot of swing and miss, no matter how much power that entails, I mean, think of Miguel Sano, that either doesn't get you to the major leagues or you don't last long in the major leagues. And so Jose Rodriguez, definitely a lot more volatile, but has a similarly high ceiling, just has a lot more work to do, which again makes sense at 17 years old. And the last name I'm looking at for the Dominican Summer League is Ariel Castro, 17 years old, another outfielder. And based on what I'm reading in scouting reports, he kind of falls right in between Mercedes and Rodriguez. He has that power. He's a little bit more usable out in the outfield. But again, he's only 17 years old, and he was just signed in the last international free agency class. So we don't know we don't know what to expect from him. It's really hard to find any sort of information and data on these international players. So you really have to just rely on what the scouting reports say and what the experts say. And that's what he's projected for right now. That's a really interesting name to keep an eye on just because there is a lot unknown there. We know he's got power and he's a corner outfielder with a high ceiling, but putting that all together in a game against other, major league or minor league talent, we'll see what that does for him in this first season with the Twins. On the Florida Complex League side, not as deep, not as interesting, not as many names. Really, the only name that I'm going to be keeping an eye on, and he's on the older end, so I'm going to be keeping an eye on to see if he can make his way to A-ball, is Alexander Pena, corner infielder. He's 21 years old, which is quite a bit older than most of the players at that level. So he's one that if he makes a splash early on in 2023, which he's done each of the last 3 seasons, I would I wouldn't be surprised to see him come stateside at the A-ball level. Now, I don't know what that means in terms of becoming a citizen and all that. I know there are issues with that with other players. I don't know what that means for him, but he's somebody, again, this is his 4th season. He's coming off 3 very productive seasons at the Florida Complex, or in the Florida Complex League. And so looking for him to continue that in 2023 and maybe earn that promotion to Cedar Rapids or Fort Myers. We'll see what that entails. But let me know what your thoughts are. Do you follow any of these guys? Again, it's hard to find information, but they're some of the more intriguing prospects just because they're so young and there's so much volatility on what they can become between their 17 and 18-year-old season versus if and when they make the Major League Baseball team. Let me know in the comments. Let me know on Twitter at Lenzy2108, or let me know on YouTube, Musings from Twins Territory.